points. The Super Eagles, we have 7 points, and we are placed fourth in that group for qualifiers of the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup. Well, we have lots of conversations on the show. Probably we will play the voices of the head coach, 𝐶𝐈𝐒 the French Malian man who has guided the Super Eagles of Nigeria in his first 2 games, winning 1 and drawing 1. If you could recall, when 𝐶𝐈𝐒 was given this job, I said, if anything happens to Nigeria in a bid to qualify for the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup, well, that shouldn't be on 𝐶𝐈𝐒. But rather you blame the Nigeria Football Federation and you talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And when you look at what has really gone down within this team, well, when you talk about this team, you tell that it is not the best of performances for them. Where, of course, being, well, a side that can't get victory at home. Remember that for Zimbabwe and home and away, we were unable to cluster a victory. Lesotho, we drew them here in Nigeria. South Africa, we drew them here in Nigeria. So how will we go away from home and defeat all of these sides? Well, it is a difficult one. But then probably will come in the afternoon and then we'll discuss more about all of that. Now, the Super Eagles of Nigeria permutations, it has begun for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But it was not the best of results yesterday as the game ended 1-1 between both sides. And you could tell that our qualification to the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup is hanging on the thread and hoping that Bafana of South Africa can drop a point in their upcoming games. That's the last 4 games for them to play. Have it in mind that they'll be playing against the Super Eagles of Nigeria also in one of those 4 games. Yesterday they defeated 𝐾𝐈𝐒 Benin Republic by 2 goals to 0. Definitely give them that starting point there in that game. Of course, they are seen as the favorite to qualify for the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup. Well, other qualification games went down on the continent also. We'll discuss about that. On the European scene also, games went down yesterday. We'll discuss about that on the show. We'll discuss about a bit of a tennis story, as well as the countdown back to the European football. Talking about club side of football. Well, definitely, you know, you're listening to the voice of 𝐿uwaTimlane SAMIES. So good on the program. This is a lovely afternoon, morning. So definitely, you know that the station is 32 FM 94.9. Well, all right, before we talk more about African football, let's join our partners, the BBC, to take a listen to what they have for us. So that's on the BBC Premier League update. Let's join our partners, the BBC Premier League update.
Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Shabnam Yunus-Jewell at the BBC Sports Centre. Real Madrid are in talks over finalising the signing of Liverpool fullback Trent Alexander-Arnold on a free transfer this summer. The England defender is in the final 3 months of his contract at Liverpool and has been free since January to talk to clubs abroad. Former Liverpool and Real Madrid winger Steve McManaman has given the BBC his thoughts on the potential move.
Unless Liverpool come out and say something, or unless Real Madrid come out and say something, or unless Trent Alexander-Arnold in particular says something, it's the same story that it was a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. A lot of conjecture, a lot of people putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 6. Yes, they're talking. No, they're talking. Are they getting agreed? But until everything's agreed and he's moving, I take it with a huge pinch of salt.
Newcastle United forward Alexander Isak scored 1 goal and assisted another as his Sweden side thrashed a youthful Northern Ireland 5-1 in a friendly in Stockholm, while Wales snatched a dramatic World Cup qualifying draw against North Macedonia with virtually the last kick of the game in Skopje. It looked like a goalless draw until the 90th minute when the hosts took the lead, but in the 6th minute of added time, Bournemouth's David Brooks scored the equaliser, maintaining manager Craig Bellamy's unbeaten record.
We're a good group. With a lot of quality, and I think we showed that today, and I think it would have been very, very unjust if they'd have walked away with 3 points today. So we're going to have to just dust ourselves off and take the point back home. But yeah, I think there was a lot of positives in that performance to show we should have won the game. But yeah, like I say, with a minute to go, you definitely take the point and we'll go home happy.
Former Manchester United sporting director Dan Ashworth is in discussions with the Football Association about a potential return to the governing body. Ashworth was at the FA between 2012 and 2018. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Welcome back. The program is still Scoreboard in 15 right here on 32 FM 94.9. Well, all right, there you heard from the BBC. Alexander Isak scoring one, assisting one. And then the news about Trent Alexander-Arnold joining Los Blancos, 13-time winners of the UEFA Champions League. Well, of course, let's see how that goes for the Englishman. Well, coming back to the continent, we had other games go down yesterday, where Cape Verde defeated Angola by 2-1. Benin at South Africa. Of course, South Africa defeated them by 2-0. Nigeria 1-1 against Zimbabwe. Rwanda against Lesotho 1-1. Uganda against the Guinea. Ghana defeated Guinea by 1-0. Botswana defeated Somalia by 2-0. Burundi defeated Seychelles by 5-0. Cameroon defeated Libya 3-1. Egypt 1. Sierra Leone 0. Sudan and South Sudan played out a 1-1 draw. Algeria also defeated Mozambique by 5-1. Comoros 1. Chad 0. Mauritania lost to the hands of Democratic Republic of Congo by 2-0. Senegal defeated Togo by 2-0. And Morocco defeated Tanzania by 2-0. Well, we talk about some other football stories coming about the American qualifiers, talking about the Copa America, that's the South American football, where the Alba Celeste defeated the Samba Boys just in the early hours of today by 4-1. Son of Simeone, Giovanni Simeone was on target, McAllister was on target, Julian Alvarez was on target, and Fernandes was also on target. While for Brazil, it was Matheus Cunha who scored the goal for them. And then we talk about the starting 11 from all over these sides. Rodrigo, Cunha, Rafinha, Vinicius, Andre, Joelinton. We have Marquinhos, Wesley, Murillo, Arna, Bento, all started this game for Brazil, but for Argentina, Emiliano Martinez, Tagliafico, Otamendi, Romero, Molina, Leandro Paredes, McAllister, Rodrigo de Paul, Almada, Julian Alvarez, and Enzo Fernandez. They all start this game for the Alba Celeste, and you could tell that maybe they are done and dusted also in qualification for the World Cup, because you take a look at where they stand also in this order of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. It is the best position for them, as they have 31 points from 14 games played. They have an 8-point lead over second place, the Ecuador, that's in a bid to qualify for the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup to defend their title. That was not the only game that went down. Colombia and Paraguay played out a 2-2 draw. Venezuela defeated Peru by 1-0. Chile and Ecuador ended 0-0. But later today, their games are set to go down. Well, we know that it also marks the return of club football. Lyon in the UEFA Women's Champions League will be up against the Bayern Munich, and then Arsenal would be up against Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League. Games are set to go down later today. And also on the continent, here in Nigeria, to be precise, we have a game set to go down. That's Nigeria Premier Football League. Abia Warriors will be up against Lobby Stars. Bayelsa United will be up against Rivers United. Kano Pillars against the Bendel Insurance. Kwara United against Nasarawa United. Sunshine Stars would be up against Atlant Football Club. All of these games are set to go down by 4 p.m. later today, Nigerian time. Just before we leave the show, let's talk about a bit of tennis stories. We had Novak Djokovic has cruised past Lorenzo Musetti in straight set 6-2, 6-2 to reach the quarterfinals of the Miami Open. And well, remember the match was delayed because of rain. And well, the number 5 Djokovic, who has won 6 Miami titles, started slowly and was broken in the opening game as Musetti opened up a 2-0 lead. But Novak, the 37-year-old, completely dominated the match from that point. And the 24-time Grand Slam champion, he won 9 consecutive games, closing out the first set 6-2 and moving up 3-0. That's in the second. And world number 16, Musetti, offered little resistance despite winning a couple of games as Djokovic cruised through a set up at a tie. That's to play against Sebastian Korda. For Sebastian Korda, how did he do it? Also, he booked his place in the quarterfinals with a 6-4, 2-6, 6-4 victory over Gael Monfils. So while Francisco Corendolo, is also through after beating Casper Ruud in straight sets, 6-4, 6-2. And in the women's games also, that's Jasmine Paulina defeated Magdalenet in straight sets, 6-3, 6-2, to set up a last four tie with world number 1, and that's Aina Sabalenka or Sen Kin Wen. We'll play later. That's later, just in the early hours of today. Well, all right, so this is how far we can go on today's edition of the program right here on 32 FM 94.9. Well, we'll come later in the afternoon, myself and Peter, and we'll talk extensively about the game that went down just in the early hours of the game that went down yesterday, I beg your pardon, and then we just look at how the Super Eagles of Nigeria can still maybe qualify for the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup. I am SAMIES, your sports captain. Coming up next is Baba Vendor. And we'll come later in the afternoon, 3:30, to discuss more about sporting stories. Do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.